Hello everyone, today I'm going to be going over my final project outline for Cyber 200. So the format that I'm going to follow through for this presentation is I'm going to start going over what the scope of this project is, and then I'm going to focus on what my project overall, what it entails, and then the deliverables that I'm expecting to produce from this project. And then I'm going to focus on how it relates to the class material that we've talked about, my motivations for why I chose to follow through doing this specific project. So let's get started here. So overall, what is the scope of my project that I'm doing? So my project, what I'm looking to is I'm looking to influence the cybersecurity education within my local community. And so what I mean by that is that I'm going to be going to some of the local K through 12 schools in my local community and kind of talking to some of the administrators and seeing what kind of education that they have in place for cybersecurity. And my goal through doing this is that by gaining this understanding of what the current curriculum is, I'm going to be able to improve it with my own recommendations based off of what my education is. And then as a result from this, years down the line, or if this ever gets implemented, to hopefully educate the younger generations about the cybersecurity industry and hopefully encourage more people to be involved in this field. So what is the outline for this project? Well, first I'm going to start off by understanding what my current environment is. And as I stated, I'm going out to some of the local schools in my community, kind of getting understanding what is the environment of cybersecurity, the education in K through 12. And I'm going to be pairing that with doing some research on my own through the U.S. Department of Education, seeing if they have any sort of regulation standards or anything that they are implementing towards K through 12 education, and as well as the Nevada Department of Education, seeing what they have implemented, if they have any sets of rules or regulations around that. And then, as I said, going to some local schools. I want to try and disperse it out a little bit, see if there's anything through K through 5 schools, middle schools, or grades 6 through 8, and then high schools. Kind of comparing, seeing if there's any sort of education in any 1-3 of these sects. And then determining what classes, and then by doing that, determining what classes are in place. And then my goal is then to not stay within one specific school district, because my thinking is, well, if I stay in this one school district and just follow the chain, their education possibly is going to be different from what another school district has. So my intention is to go to 3 different schools and have each school be within a different school district. So that is how I'm going to start this off, is by doing some preliminary research, so gathering all my information that I can. Once I have that, I'm going to take all that information, go back and identify what gaps there might be within the education. Do they have an education system at all? If they do, what do they have in place? What can be improved upon? What looks really good, so I can go back and with my recommendation say, yep, what you have looks good, but here are a few things that I think can be improved. Here are some of the gaps that I noticed. So after compiling that data, going through and identifying what those gaps are, and then finally, as I'm actually going through and identifying those gaps, if there is no education in place, I want to develop a curriculum that can be implemented, that I can give back to these schools and say, yep, okay, well, you don't have anything. Here is what I think should be implemented for these in this young school district, and then how I think you can apply it and encourage people to get involved in the cybersecurity field. And so this curriculum will focus on, my plan is to develop one through K through 5, grades 6 through 8, and then high school. And ideally have a path that kind of flows from one building block to the next, to the next, to the next, and it kind of is an overall growing curriculum. So the project and deliverables. What am I looking to do overall with this project? Well, I said my intention is to gain an understanding of how cybersecurity is implemented within my local school districts, preferably, and then the K through 12. So the younger generation, the young kids, how is this being developed at all? How is it being presented to these kids? And then also, as a result, by doing this project, it's going to test my understanding and my knowledge of cybersecurity, because everyone says it's a really good test of your education is if you can explain the topics you're talking about to somebody who doesn't have any understanding of what it is. And young kids, it's a great way to do that, developing an education for that and kind of presenting those topics to them in a really easy way to understand, and also in a motivating way to get them to be interested in the field. And then obviously, in the grand scheme of things, I'm hoping this will inspire an adjustment of existing curriculums or implementing one to get more of the younger generation involved in our field. And then, so what are the deliverables for this project? Well, first is an outline of the curriculum that I'm looking to develop. So like I said, there's one through K through 12, or K through 5, 6 through 8, and then high school. So kind of an outline of the curriculum. Here's what the kindergarten level curriculum is. This is everything that they'll learn. First grade, here's their curriculum. Second, third, each step of the way through. And the main reason I want to do this is to present the progression as a student continues to learn more and more and more and more throughout their educational journey. And then the next is a syllabus and a schedule of each class. So you have the curriculum, how it flows overall. The curriculum is kind of just the overall all-encompassing step path from one to the next, the next, the next. Syllabus and schedule for each class is focusing more narrowly on each individual class, kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, all the way through. And then developing kind of a syllabus that goes through, yep, these are week 1, we're going to do this, week 2, this is the topic, week 3, this is the topic. Kind of how if you look in our Canvas classes, it's broken down week by week. This is the what we're going to be learning this week, this is the topic, and how it builds homework assignments, textbook assigned readings, that sort of thing. So do that for each one of the classes. And then third deliverable is going to be, once I go and then back to the 3 schools that I talked about during the research phase, go back and present to them, this is my curriculum that I have created and what my outline is that I think you guys should implement, and then have a sit down talk with them about it, and then whatever feedback they may give me, include that in the deliverables as well. Now, how does this relate to the class material from what we've learned? Well, as we can see kind of in this green chart, I have broken down the first 8 weeks of our course and what our overall modules are that we focused on. And for each one of these courses, or each one of these weeks that we've talked about for our material, we've always talked about, yep, the user, we know from a cybersecurity professional side, this is what we need to do better. This is how we relate it to the customer. And relating it to the customer is a very big portion of our job, making sure that they understand what we're doing, but not only what we're doing, but why we're doing it, why they need to care so much about being secure when they're using technology, and why our departments within all these companies, why it's so important, why we need funding. And it's just a matter of presenting that to people and making sure that they understand why it's so important. And I think that's how this relates to the class material, is because each topic, as I said, it's about educating our users. And my thought is that if we start implementing an education around cybersecurity towards young kids while they're still in K through 12 schooling, even if they don't want to get involved in the field, they can have an understanding of why it's important just in the grand scheme of things when running a business or overall just in society, why having cybersecurity is very important. Because if you think about, when I think about my early education, I think about the science, math, reading, and you can put in your mind in the grand scheme of things why all those things are important for growing society and just knowledge base in general. And that's my intention with implementing this cybersecurity in that education as well. And lastly here, what are my motivations for doing this project? Why is this what I chose for my project? Well, first one is education. I've always enjoyed being involved in academia, learning myself, but also encouraging others to learn and understand more about whatever it is that they may be interested in, what I'm interested in this case, cybersecurity. And I'm a firm believer that educating yourself and others, even after you're out of school, is very important. So just kind of having that aspect of continuous education. Secondly, motivate the younger generations. When I was growing up in my K through 12 experience, I had practically zero experience when it came to technology. It wasn't until I got into college where I really started focusing on first computer science and then cybersecurity. But if I would have gotten a more overarching education when I was younger, I think it would have motivated me earlier on to know that, hey, yes, this is a career I wanted to get involved within. And from that point, I could have gone through a lot more self-paced projects when I was younger to kind of grow my knowledge in the field. And that's kind of what my intention is with this, is that, hey, if we maybe implement this into academics earlier on in somebody's life, there's a good chance that it might inspire more people to get involved in the field. And that kind of leads into the next point: improve involvement by educating the younger generation to be involved in this field and kind of an understanding of what it is. It might improve the involvement and the growth of the cybersecurity career and getting more people involved in the field. And lastly, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to kind of take a research project where I was actually going out and talking to administrators at different schools, or just talking to people, getting real firsthand experience, and then applying that to my research project, as opposed to just sitting behind a computer doing research. Although it's going to be involved, I didn't want that to be my main focus. I wanted to get out, actually talk to people, and get firsthand experience. And I think this is a great way to do that. And that's kind of an overarching topic of what I'm going to follow on for my final project. Thank you.